Vann McElroy from Uvalde, Texas. All-pro safety, All-American safety, played at Baylor, played a long time in the NFL, has also been a part of representing players in the NFL as well. He joins us on Sikkim 365 Radio. Paul, Catalina, David, and Craig Smoak as well. Vann, we've had you on many times about the memories and reminiscing about your career and much more. But obviously with what happened yesterday in your hometown, what has it been like, and what your thoughts about your great city and hometown?
It's just it's been sad, obviously, and then I think everybody's just trying to wrap their arms around it a little bit, guys. Something like this just doesn't happen in a Uvalde, it just doesn't, and unfortunately, it has, and obviously, I know some of the parents and the grandparents, and it just has everybody, I think, reeling a little bit, trying to figure out just how this happened, what really that it actually happened. Tough.
Vann, when you found out, obviously we all had the same feeling yesterday when you found out, but like you said, it doesn't happen in Uvalde. Talk about the city of Uvalde a little bit for people outside the area who may not know about, what kind of town and city it is.
Listen, guys, I grew up here. We moved here when I was 6 months old, and the area that we lived, Laurel Street, was that whole neighborhood. I guarantee you it was the best neighborhood in the history of neighborhoods. Just kids, in the whole area. We had a little, what we called a little park where we went and played football every Sunday afternoon, and you were either Roger Staubach or, somebody. And that was Uvalde. We had several great teams back in those days, won a state baseball championship my junior year, and so a lot of just great memories with success with a lot of friends, and just a place that you really fall in love with. Gail and I, we determined towards my last year, we bought some land down here and built our house and have raised our kids here, and that type of mentality or thought process, of just what this small town was about was why we did it. It's just a great place to raise kids and have a family. That's what this place is. And so for something like that to happen, I think it just really has everybody just trying to wonder what the heck is going on. Because it's a great place, guys. It just is.
Yeah, Vann, I imagine there's other communities out there who are, seeing the news and like, well, that could never happen here. But I imagine Uvalde was one of those places where people probably say, well, that'll never happen here as well, right?
Absolutely. And so obviously it does. And it begins to make you wonder, where's our world? How are these types of things happening and why? And I don't know that I have any answers, guys. I just know that at some point here, I have a little 8-year-old grandson, and fortunately for us, he was at another elementary school, and I just think about it, going, goodness gracious. The parents and the grandparents showing up. There was a time and point where they were, they're there, and you're not knowing if your child is alive or not, and I hate to say this, but I'm just trying to make it as real and so people can understand what was going on. But the children were still laid out in the classroom where they had been shot, and the parents are outside again wondering, I haven't seen my child today. Are they in there? Are they not? It just pains me, man. It's a tragedy, for the people, and I don't think any of us, certainly myself, cannot say, well, how someone feels. No, you can't know how anyone feels that has lost a child or a grandchild, and so all I know is that I can get emotional with it because I know how much I love, all of our grandchildren, and we have 7 now, and just to be put in that position where you're showing up and something like this happen is just, it's just hard, guys.
Vann, you mentioned you have a grandchild. You have a granddaughter. It's at one of the other elementary schools in Uvalde.
grandson.
Grandson.
And he's a third. He's a William the Third.
When you heard the news, did you know which school it was?
Well, let me tell you this, guys. I had decided I was going to go eat some lunch at this little Mexican food place, Bosca's, and I always sort of go the back road toward the place, and so I was headed that way, and it was about 11:30, and I get over, and I always go by Rob, and where I'm headed over to this restaurant, and man, there were police cars everywhere, lights flashing, cars in a line. I'm going, goodness gracious, what's going on, man? And I kept circling around where all the different exits and streets were just closed, and again, police, and as you're driving, there were just cop after cop, coming, flying with their lights, and I'm going, goodness. So I pulled over, I saw somebody, and I just asked what's going on, and that's when I found out that there was a shooting. So I was in the midst of it when it was actually, sort of happening, or probably had happened with all the cops coming in and what have you. And so I just began to reach out to some people and let them know what was going on. And it was just and then when you get the graph, just the whole idea of just what was taking place at that moment, it's overwhelming. I mean, it's just, it really is. And again, our grandson, William, was at Anthem, and it's not that far away from Rob. But, hey, it could have very well been over there, and so just a lot of, I think everybody is just sort of just, no one really knows what to say, because I think everybody, realizes it could have been us, or so it's just, it's a time, I think, right now where everybody's just kind of in shock and trying to figure it out. And I don't know. In things like this, I just don't know when there will be a lot of answers, to be honest with you.
Vann McElroy from Uvalde, Texas, with us on Sikkim 365 Radio and 365 Sports. As you know, when this happens, and it's happened way too many times, the next time will be too many times, people converge on the city. They start to, of course, cover the story, cover the background, cover the various things, the angles or whatever. The city of Uvalde, how strong a city is it, Vann?
It's a very strong place. Good people, good, solid, God-fearing, type of society down here, and a lot of ranchers, farmers, and what have you, and just just good people. And I think y'all know when I use that term, just kind of what that means. It's and you can you unlock, you leave your doors unlocked and half the time, and it's still that type of a place. And so when you try to envision this town and what it is and what took place, it's just hard to put both of those together. And I think it should just make everybody realize, this can happen at anywhere at any time, and how we deal with this as a society, I don't know, guys. It's you can go down the list of things, but it's certainly opened the door a little bit. When it's happening in Uvalde, Texas, it's a real threat everywhere.
Vann, what can people do other than pray or send their thoughts and prayers? I mean, sometimes, you want to help, and you're almost helpless in helping. Any suggestions whatsoever, not about the issues with guns and political stuff, whatever, about what can people do for Uvalde right now?
That's a difficult question, and I thought through that, and it just, the biggest part of this is time, and people being able to sort of just walk through this, especially the families. But whether I know people send money, do those. There's a couple of things that have been put together that certainly people can contribute to for the families. I know the funeral home here. I think they're doing the funerals for free, and just things of that nature that really can make an immediate impact on people. But I will say this, one thing that maybe people don't think about it is at some time and point, as we get the names of the different families and maybe the name of the son or daughter or the grandson or granddaughter, maybe take the time to just sit down in your home, grab a pen and a piece of paper, and just write them a little letter. Let them know you love them. Let them know that you're thinking about them. And sometimes when it's just coming from people that maybe you don't even know, it can be powerful, and it can be, it can just sometimes give people a real sense of feeling that people out there really do care. People I don't even know. Mm-hmm. And, this country is so good at that. But I think something small like that can make a big difference.
Van, would you mind if for those who are listening, if anybody wants to write a note, if they want to send it to me, if I could then pass it on to you and send it to you at some point, get your address and send those to you, or is that okay?
Absolutely.
And you could distribute them around. Okay. All right.
That would be fine.
Okay. Well, there are no words, right? We've seen this before. It seems like we see this way too often, and it's just unbelievable. And then to have it right there, smack in the middle of your own hometown, it was stunning.
I was driving by when it was happening, guys. I'm sitting there because it is a small town. I'm just, and so. So it certainly causes you to pause, and the most difficult thing in something like this will come about, and everybody will have to do it in their time. But for us to finally heal, there will be a time and point where this guy will have to be forgiven, and it's a powerful gift we've been given, and it's hard to do. But goodness gracious, sometimes that brings the ultimate healing, and I'm just hoping that at some time and point people can get to that place, because holding on to these things forever just will ruin the rest of your life, because it is so hard, guys. Y'all know what I mean. It's a brutal experience, and anger and all of those things just begin to fill your emotions, and the only way out of it, the only way to find ultimate peace in that is at some time and point, forgiveness is the only way. So that point will have to come at some later date. It will be different for everybody, but I'm grateful for, certainly for people that have been reaching out. I've had a lot of old buddies and old teammates, and just people calling and texting, and obviously it's very real to me having a grandson right next door over there that, goodness gracious, it could have been right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so it just brings it out. And so we're just, everything at this place right now, I think everybody is trying to work through the shock of it all, almost like going, did this really just happen? And as it goes forward, all of those things will begin to come out and what have you. But right now, I think just pray about people. Prayer is more powerful than we realize it really is. And I think that's also a very powerful thing.
Very true. Van, thank you very much, man. We're thinking about you. I've seen Matthew McConaughey have some comments as well from Uvalde, among others as well. And I'll put something up on my Twitter page in our chat room, and possibly get back in touch with you if we want to send some mail to you to spread out to the community.
Yeah, just let me know, and I'll give you an address, and then I'll get it to the people, and we can make that work. Okay, bro.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Van McElroy from Uvalde, Texas. Great football player, and right now in the middle of tragedy, driving by Robb Elementary on a back road to go to a restaurant, and then all of a sudden runs into the flashing lights as basically things were happening with a grandson that's basically almost all but next door.
Yeah, that effing scumbag attacked an elementary school. I mean, I don't even. I know nobody really has the words right now. I got a lot of angry words, but I mean, they're not going to do any use right now in this setting. So, yeah, I can only imagine and pretend to know a hundredth of the feelings that the people of Uvalde, especially those families who are suffering, are going through right now. And you have to sit outside of a school, wait for DNA testing to figure out if that's your child that was killed or not, or your family member. I mean, that's incredibly sad to think about, but it's the reality, and it was a reality. It's Parkland. It's a reality. Columbine. I mean, Columbine. I think I was a freshman in high school when that happened, and now it just seems like now that we just rattle off the school names that have all occurred in that time period since then. But yeah, a lot of anger right now, and deservedly so, but a lot of sadness as well, and just wish this wasn't the case. Well, I get real tired of the fact that, if you told me in 2 years from now, or 6 months from now, some other story pops up like this, it won't surprise me. Will it surprise anybody? No, it won't. I mean, how could you be surprised at this point? So that's the saddest thing of all, is that we get down for these next 2 days, week, month, and we'll mourn, and we'll be sad, and we'll be angry, and we'll demand change, and then life will go back to normal, and there will be another Uvalde or a Parkland or a Columbine or whatever, because that's what we've done this entire time. So why would it change now? You would hope this would be the change, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith that it will be. And I'm just tired of this being a common story, an all too common story here. And it's a damn shame is what it is. And just my heart, as much as it can possibly send energy out, because I don't know what else the hell to do right now. I send every bit of my being and love and everything that I have for the people of Uvalde. I know it doesn't make a damn bit of difference, but that's all I can really give, and I just hope that there is actual change. But I really have no faith in our politicians or the people that can make that change right now. So that's even, that's not as much of a shame, but that's a damn shame too.
We have to get to a point in this country where every discussion isn't a non-starter for no. I mean, like, we can have the discussion about how do we make this better? How do we do it? Because right now, we're the people who can enact the change. When it starts getting discussed, everything is a non-starter. So then it just goes nowhere. So we have to be open to the discussion on all sides and all parts, to just be willing to give a little bit, so that, we don't have to, I've heard people say fortify the schools, and maybe that's so, but there was a time in this country when this stuff you wouldn't have to worry about it. It didn't happen. Can we go back there? Is there a way that we can undo it?
Too many
What do the other
times now.
countries do?